Well, hello and welcome to Roadmap to Success. 6 steps to turning your idea into a successful business. My name is John Hunt from marketingplanguide.com. I'm the author of the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook. And in the next few minutes, I want to take you through some ideas, some exercises, and show you really what it takes to succeed in starting your own business. Have you ever heard this line before? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Let me ask you a question. Why are you here? Why did you decide to pick up this program and go through it? Was there something about maybe the cover or the topic that really got you interested? Well, I want to know what that is. And since you can't talk to me right now through the video, just write it down or even say it out loud right there to the screen. Why are you here? What do you want to take out of today's session? Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself first, and then we will get into the different pieces of the program today. But I've been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 17 years old. In fact, I can get more into the details of that later, but I right now am a father of 4 beautiful children and a lovely wife. And Bright Marketing is the name of my corporate entity, but actually I work with several different businesses. The primary thing I do is marketingplanguide.com, which is producing this program, and that is an educational company that teaches business owners and would-be business owners how to set up and market their own business. But I'm also an implementer. I practice what I preach. And that is, I work with a wide range of business owners in a variety of industries where I'm partners with them. I'm in the bridal business, I'm in the water distiller business, in the medical equipment rental business. So a lot of what I'm talking about is really firsthand experience from starting businesses and working closely with the owners of businesses on how to take and move an idea from concept through implementation. And that's what I want to show you today in this program, how you go about doing that. First, what I want to do is I want to give you really the purpose of this session. And it's to show you how to achieve self-employment success by planning for it and not waiting for it to happen. Here's our outline, and this is what we're going to cover today. First of all, the why. Why start your own business? Why do you want to do that? It may even go back to the question that you answered earlier, why you are here. The second thing is how to plan for success. What are the steps that you need to take in order to be successful? And then really the last thing I want to leave you with is when I'm done talking, what are your next steps and how do you determine what your next step will be? Because you're not going to be in business for yourself at the end of this presentation here, but you will be poised to go and do something. So that's what we want to cover in today's program. Okay, our first section is why start your own business? Well, there's some reasons why you would want to have your own business. I have 5 of them here. And the first one is this. It aligns with your personal mission or vision for life. Now, I'm assuming that you have a personal mission or vision statement. And if you don't, I'd suggest checking out Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It talks about creating a vision and a mission statement for yourself. Because we have to treat our life as a whole. And, what is our purpose for living? What do we want to accomplish in our life? And how can we fit a business into what our personal mission or vision is? And that's one of the reasons why you want to have your own business, is because it will allow you to fit your business within the vision that you have for your life. The second reason is it allows you to profit from the use of your gifts. God has given all of us strengths and weaknesses. You have certain gifts. You might be artistic. You might be a logical thinker. But if you can take what you are gifted at and earn money from it, way to go. This is a great thing to do. So another reason people start their own businesses is because it allows them to use their gifts and profit from them. The third reason is it allows you to support a lifestyle that you've chosen for yourself. And, you might think that that's okay, have the big house, the pool, and the Mercedes-Benz. Well, that's not what I'm talking about here. You, in your mind, have a certain kind of lifestyle that you have envisioned for yourself. So starting a business and having something be able to help you support that vision for what kind of lifestyle you want is a great reason. And so again, it starts with you have to have that vision for what kind of lifestyle you want to live. But quite often when you're working for somebody else, there is kind of a limitation to what you can do. So if you have a certain lifestyle that requires maybe more than you can achieve through a regular job, another reason to start a business on your own. Another reason people start businesses for themselves because it gives you the opportunity to help somebody solve a problem. Now that might be something practical, like the people are very busy and don't have time to clean their house, so therefore you create a house cleaning service. But there's more to that too. There may be a cause. You may do a nonprofit, a ministry, some kind of missional work where you can, through the course of your business, and it might be a nonprofit business, but you take and you help someone achieve something, you help a cause, you help further a cause, and that's another reason that people do a business. They don't necessarily do it for the money, they do it just to promote a cause or just because they like helping people. They're people that are wired to help other people, and that's another reason to have your own business. The fifth reason is it could be a blast and it can give you freedom and leverage. We talk about the American dream and wanting to call our own shots and have our own schedule, and those things are great, and that is something that a business can do. In fact, we call that leverage, because if you are working for someone else, sometimes you need to go at a certain time and come at a certain time, or travel or do whatever, and you're at the whim of somebody else's plan. Well, when you have your own business, you have the freedom to choose when you want to work and when you don't want to work. Now, of course, if you choose to not work at all, you're not going to make any money, but it does give you the flexibility and leverage. And a lot of people are attracted to that because that is a great reason to have your own business. Well, we've kind of got the why and really the combination of those reasons and looking at your own personal mission or vision statement, that gives you the why you would want to start a business. Now let's look about how to plan for success. And what I want to do right now is I want to take you on a little dream vacation. We're just going to take a little pause here, and we are just going to dream up in our mind. You close your eyes if you want, and I'm going to ask you several questions here, and I want you to come up with a 1 or 2 sentence answer. But and don't let there be any limitations right now. Think big, think as big as you want. The first is, answer this question: why should you go on this vacation? What is the reason that you deserve to go on a vacation in the first place? But why would you want to go on a dream vacation in the first place? The second question is, what would your destination be? Think about all the places you'd like to go. Maybe it's somewhere exotic, maybe it's somewhere quiet, but think of what would your destination be and write that down. The third question is, what do you want to do on this vacation? Once you're at your destination, what are some of the activities you want to be involved in? Maybe you just want to rest, maybe you want to go sightseeing. The destination will really dictate what you would do there. So think about, what do you want to do on this vacation? Now the next question is, what methods of transportation would you choose to reach your destination? Now, let's say if you're going to Hawaii from the United States, you may not be able to take a canoe, so you're going to have to choose the right kind of transportation method, whether it be air, or it might be a ship, might be a bicycle if you're going, your destination is close and you want to take a bike. So it may be a combination of those. So what are the transportation methods that you're going to use to get you to your destination? Now, let's think about putting this into action. When will you depart? When will you actually put a date down? Say, and again, we're going to assume that you can get all your ducks in a row. We're not worried about cost right now. But when would you want to depart for this particular trip? Now, okay, we'll bring it a little bit more back to reality, maybe a little less of a dream, but you've kind of thought this up. How can you make this happen? What's it going to take? Is it going to take a certain amount of money, and how much money would that take? And maybe how would you get that money? What would you need to do to make this all happen? financially, and maybe time schedule wise. What's keeping you from doing this dream vacation, and how can you put it all together? You know, if you take a look at this exercise, this dream vacation exercise, it really reflects almost exactly what our marketing plan outline looks like. And a marketing plan really has 6 steps to it. It has a situation analysis, which is really looking at yourself and your situation and how you're unique and different within your marketplace. The second section is the target audience, which is who has a need for your product or service. What does that ideal customer look like? The third is the goals. What do you want your marketing to accomplish so that when you get to the end of a year, you can look back and say, hey, here's what I set out to do and here's what I did. You have something to measure it against. Strategies are which marketing tools do you need in order to achieve your marketing success, and that's much like the dream vacation, where what transportation methods did you use in order to get to where you were going. Tactics are, in a marketing plan, your marketing calendar. What are you going to do when, and why are you doing it? And in your dream vacation, the tactics were, what were some of those activities that you were going to do once you were at your destination? And then finally, the budget is the important part of the marketing plan. That's really going to show you whether or not you can do certain things, and also get you understanding the concept of return on investment, because you may have to spend some money on marketing in order to get a return. And if you have a marketing plan put together, that is laid out right in that right there. I referenced Stephen Covey earlier, but think about this quote from the section called "Begin with the End in Mind." And he said, Covey said, "All things are created twice. There's a mental, which is your first creation, and a physical, which is your second creation." And really, when we think about putting a plan together, and that's what we're going to talk about, because the way you succeed in starting your own business is by having a plan together. And I'm going to go over how to put a marketing plan together, and you'll see that a marketing plan can work if you're brand new, or if you're an existing business. And we may have people watching this program that are both, or either or, I should say. You may be brand new, don't know what business you want to do. You may be an established business, and both of you can benefit by having a marketing plan, because you need that in order to achieve success. But what is marketing? When you hear that term, what do you think marketing is? Some people might say marketing is advertising. Certainly marketing is advertising, or those clever ads you hear on the radio or see. Other people might think about that marketing executive, who's got the fancy car and goes and sells and markets the services to customers. Marketing really can be a variety of things. If you asked 100 people, you'd come up with 100 different answers. But here's a textbook definition of marketing. In fact, I use this in the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook, and that is: marketing is the performance of strategic activities which seek to achieve a company's goals by anticipating its customers' needs and directing a flow of need-satisfying products and services from producer to consumer. Now that is a mouthful. That doesn't sound like an ad campaign. But really, if you pick this definition apart, and we'll just look at some of the key points in this definition, you'll see that this really does make a lot of sense. A marketing plan, first of all, has to have an action element. You need to take action, and take action on a strategic level. That is, we use part of the marketing plan to define who our target audience is and how you're different and what you're going to be providing them. But then we use tools to really locate and deliver a message to that target audience. Having goals in place. You can't measure anything without having a benchmark or a goal in place. So it's really important. Every marketing plan has to set out to accomplish something. And so the goals section of the marketing plan has that in it. Filling a need, or more importantly, anticipating a need, a customer's need. That's really critical in marketing. And when you're just deciding to start your own business, having a need that someone has, and you know what, it might be your need that you need to satisfy by starting this business, but ultimately you have to sell your products or services to customers, so you do need to have a need that you're going to fill. And then we talk about direct navigating and controlling the process. You look at that last part of the definition, which says, you directing a flow of need-satisfying products and services from producer to consumer. This is really a process that involves more than really just coming up with clever ads. This talks about operations and talks about procedures and timelines, and it does include ads as well, but it is a process, and it's something that you navigate, much like a captain of a boat navigates the boat down the river. You can't take your hands off the wheel. Marketing is an active process that you need to be engaged in. Good old Ben Franklin back in 1771, really, I think he was the one who was credited. He invented, I don't know how many hundreds of things, but we'll say that he also invented the marketing plan, because he said this: "I've always thought that one man of tolerable abilities may work great changes and accomplish great affairs among mankind if he first forms a good plan." 95% of the businesses out there don't have a plan in place. So again, back to our opening quote, if you fail to plan, you really are planning to fail. Again, I'll put this marketing plan outline up here. In the situation analysis, which is the first section of the marketing plan, we really look at self-examination and industry examination and ask that question: is this a new business or is it an existing business? Because we will approach things a little differently each way. If you are new, thinking about being self-employed, what you want to do is think about this process for choosing a business. And it's a very simplified process, but first of all, you want to brainstorm ideas, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We want to research these ideas to make sure these ideas are good or not, and to see if other people are doing them, and then really assess the potential. This is where we weed out the ideas, because perhaps you may come up with 5 or 6 good ideas, but then ultimately you whittle it down to the one that you want to do. So in the beginning of this process, in this brainstorming process, we don't want to limit our imagination. There's a survey of business owners. 33% did deliberate research prior to starting. Now, it may not surprise you that 56% saw a need based on previous experience. In fact, I've worked with many business owners where they've worked for a company, they've seen that the company they work for will not respond to a need of a customer. The customer has told you, we need this. The business owners, we're not going to give them that. So they've broken off and started their own business with that need in mind. So that's something, when we talk about what kind of business, you may just need to open your eyes and look around you. There are a lot of needs out there that are going unmet, and that's one of the best ways to start a business. And 11% in this particular survey had other reasons. But you think about the idea of researching and the brainstorming, only about 1/3 of the people did that. So there really is no right way of choosing a business. You can do a lot of deliberate research, you can find the need, or you can just kind of go for it if that's your personality style. Well, we talked now about this idea, if you're trying to come up with a business, of balancing what you like to do versus what the market needs, because you want to be passionate about what you do, but you also want the market to have a need for what you're doing. So on your own side, if you're thinking about what can you do for a business, start out by writing your life story or your history. And as you look back on life, you may see significant events that will give you clues about things that you really like to do. What are the key points and influences in your life? Maybe there's a person that influenced you, or maybe there's an event, or something that you were involved in that really got you interested in a particular skill or an interest. Have you received any special training? Have you taken any special classes to train you on something that you could use to create a business from? Or are there any subjects that you did well in school? Looking at yourself, your history, is going to give you some clues on what you could really be passionate about doing. You may want to ask others what they think that you like to do. So they from their perspective, what do they think your strengths are and what they think you like to do? And you may find something that, people say, you know what, you are really good at, doing this kind of thing with your hands, or, I like the way that you do this. And you may find that that may be a business opportunity right there. Or, just kind of like our dream vacation when we really dreamed up a marketing plan or used the same process. What about your dream job? If you could fill in the blank here, if I could do anything I would want to, what? I'd want to do what? What would you want to do if you could do any job? And maybe you start with that as your first thing, because if you could have your dream job and you can dream that up, what is the process of going through and actually finding that particular job or that particular kind of opportunity? Well, the second half of that is, once we've kind of looked at ourselves and done an inventory there, another way to come up with the kind of business is, what does the market need? And when we think about the marketing plan, that target audience section, who has a need for your product or service? Now, there's all kinds and types of businesses that you can get involved in. You can come up with a new product or a new service. That's one way to approach it. You can come up with an existing business modeled off of maybe someone else in another town does this and they're doing well, so you could model that. Or you can do a variation on an existing business, but maybe just do it a different way. If there's one kind of restaurant that's Italian, maybe there's not a French restaurant in town and you want to start that. So there's variations on existing business models. And so you can see there's a lot of different opportunities. So you have to get into the mindset of what the market wants. And there's a lot of different ways to start. If you're starting with something new, you may just come out with a product, test it on some people, and if there's demand, you start producing it, or you start providing that service. Bankers often are interested in having a proven kind of plan. And one thing a franchise will allow you to do is they will put a plan together kind of for you. So some of that creating your own plan is not even necessary, because a franchise has kind of stamped this thing out. And oftentimes banks, when they're looking at your plan, will say, okay, you want to start a McDonald's? Well, I'm pretty familiar with McDonald's now. Of course, McDonald's cost a lot of money to do, but they have a proven track record as well. So typically a franchise is going to cost you a little bit more money, but it's something to do. A startup guide. You can buy online for all kinds of different industries, a startup guide that, again, is kind of like a franchise, but it's someone who has been in that business, has created a guide on what are the steps it takes to create that kind of business. How to start a landscaping business, how to start a consignment shop. So there's a great opportunity there. The fourth way to get involved is to become an independent rep in a company that uses outside sales and marketing people, or outside people to sell their products and services. And this runs the gamut from the multi-level marketing kinds of things to real solid business opportunities. I mean, right now in the financial services industry, there's a huge opportunity because people are always concerned about money. They're concerned about, how they protect what they have. So that's a great industry to get into. And really, just to get into one of those kinds of businesses, all you need to do is know other people. There's not a lot of startup cost involved. So that is a great opportunity to take and start a business with basically a telephone and your Rolodex, because you know people. Or your electronic organizer these days. I don't know if people use Rolodexes anymore. So now, some other questions that you can ask yourself when you're trying to determine whether or not your startup business is a good idea is, what do you want personally that you can't find? Sometimes businesses are started by people that are frustrated because they can't find what they want. What would make your life easier or more convenient, or your friend's life more easier or convenient? What do others need help with? We've really developed a service economy here in the United States, and there's services for just about everything. But what do people need help with? Because they're too busy and they need someone to help them do something. And there's a bunch of opportunities there. In fact, the business of just helping people sort through different things, whether it be their finances or whether it be building homes or whatever, there are consulting businesses out there that are booming, just helping people navigate certain particular industries. Can a current product that you have or that someone else has be upgraded or repurposed? Can you take another product and make something else out of it or use it as the base for the product? In one of the businesses I'm involved, which is the face down rental of equipment to eye surgery patients, we use a massage chair that's been retrofitted, and we rent that massage chair out. Now, you know, you could use it for a massage, but it's set up so that the patient can have their face going down. So it's, again, taking a product that was already there, repurposing it for a different idea. You know, when you're done with that brainstorming phase, you know, I say come up with 3 to 5 different business ideas to research or to take to the next level of investigation. You've kind of come up with some ideas, and now it's time to start winnowing those down. And this kind of gets us back into the marketing plan. And so you may already have a business in place, and if you haven't done this for your business that's in place, here's a good time to jump back on board and look at this. We do a thing called a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's simply this: you take a look at your top 5 competitors or people that might be in competition with you doing a particular product or service, and how are they strong? How are they weak? How are you different? Because we also want you to do this SWOT analysis on yourself as well. All this to say, we come down and determine what is it that makes us unique in our marketplace. And that's where we come up with our unique selling proposition. This is really going to be the foundation of our marketing plan. And you need to have this, regardless of what kind of business you're in. You need to have a unique selling proposition, something that makes you stand out from everyone else that's doing it in your industry, and that will help you in your marketing efforts immensely. You don't want to be a Me Too kind of person, especially if you start doing the Me Too stuff. Then everyone compares on price, and there's price wars, and you know, the strongest man is left standing. Okay, so what are those limitations? We've kind of researched the ideas, brainstorms. What are the limitations? You know, what is it that's going to keep you from starting a particular business? Well, there's cost of entry. There may be a lot of competition already in the market. You may find out that, you know, a lot of people doing that costs a lot of money to get in. Maybe you don't have the resources to get in, so then it becomes a challenge. Market potential. Maybe there's only a certain number of, you know, beagle dog walking services, beagles in your market, so a beagle dog walking service, there may only be room for one person. Maybe someone's already doing that. So, or is there a potential? Are there enough people out there who will buy your product and service? And when we go through budgeting exercises, I particularly cover this in the business course. This is the course that I'm working on with taking people from the start to implementation of a business. And it's a 16-session course. But this is one of the things we look at is assessing market potential. Is there a skills match? You've kind of done the brainstorming, hopefully looking at your talents and skills, but do you have the skills that match what it takes to have this kind of business? That's one way you start to winnow down your options. And motivation and inspiration. Is this something you really want to do? Are you excited about this? Does the idea of having a beagle dog walking service excite you? Maybe you love beagles. Maybe you hate dogs. If you do, then that shouldn't be the kind of business that you're involved in. Target audience. Who has a need for your product or service? You've got to be able to answer that question. We want to come up with something we call the ideal customer profile, a customer persona. I talk more about the existing business stuff in the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook for those of you that are already in business or kind of a little bit farther down in the process. We're not going to go into real in depth here about market research, but you do have to kind of test the waters, whether you're brand new, and even if you're an existing business launching a new product. Market research is very critical. What you want to do, what you want to find out in market research is testing for a need. Again, we want to find out if there's market potential. Startup costs, what's it going to take to get going? The demographics, do we really have a good idea of who our target audience is? And in our market service area, are there enough of those people? And then the pro forma, and we'll cover this in the very last section of the marketing plan, which is budget. But you've got to have a model, a pro forma budget of what is it going to take to get this business up and running, to be at profitability. When you meet with your banker or any other investor, they're going to want to see that there's, and even if it's you're investing your own monies, you want to make sure that you have that, that projection of income and expense in place. So really at the end of this section 2 of the marketing plan, which is target audience, you really have to identify who has a need for your product or service and have that ideal customer in mind, that avatar, that profile of the person who's really going to be your main customer. Well, the third section of the marketing plan and really your plan for success is the goals section. And that is really setting out and having a benchmark for what kind of things you want to accomplish when you set out, so that a year from now you can go back and look and say, you know what, here's what I set out to do, and here's what I did. We're not going to cover goal setting in depth. You could take whole courses on goal setting in the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook. I take you through the exercises that you need to create the goals. But there really are two types of goals. There's quantitative goals, which are numbers associated goals, and qualitative goals. And like most goal setting programs, you'll find that you need to take those goals and break them down into long-term, intermediate, and short-term tasks. And those short-term tasks, by the way, end up on your marketing calendar. So that's how you connect the pieces together. You take and have an action item for this week, for today, that really helps support the goals for the entire marketing plan. And very important in a plan, having goals, is having evaluation points and being able to review quarterly. You need to schedule those reviews in advance, and don't overreact. I mean, a marketing plan is a living and breathing document. You need to manage these things, but don't overreact. You know, kind of set some things out in place and move yourself forward as you go on. Make sure you evaluate. All right. The fourth section of the marketing plan is strategies, and here's where we really talk about what tools that we're going to use to reach our target audience with our unique selling proposition. And we're really going to say marketing tools plus marketing communications platform equals our unique selling proposition delivered to our targeted audience. And that is the marketing strategy formula. And really those two pieces, the marketing tools and the marketing communications platform, are what we cover in the strategy section here. And the platform really is just your branding, is your consistency. You concentrate on one idea, which is your unique selling proposition. You stress benefits rather than features. You be consistent from ad to ad or strategy to strategy. You always evoke a response from the customer. Marketing is something where you're out trying to gather leads, gather people in. It's not just trying to sell something. You may be trying to gather leads that you nurture to ultimately sell to. And again, taking time to test different strategies against one another. Again, this time that we have here in this program doesn't really give us enough to go through each individual marketing strategy. There are hundreds really of strategies you can use. Again, in the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook, we go through the pros and cons of all kinds of different ones, whether they be social media, whether it's traditional media, or even things like public relations. PR is a strategy, and they all need to work together, and that's why you kind of determine those strategies first. Then we move into the next part of our plan, which is the tactics. And this is where kind of the rubber meets the road. And the marketing calendar is really what we're going to talk about. And that's simply this, a calendar of activities that you need to have in place for each day and week of the year. And this is kind of your roadmap to success. You know, that is actually the thing you're following, because the marketing plan ultimately all ends up on that marketing calendar. So you know what to do when, so that you're not guessing this week or trying to, you know, well, what should I do next? It's all laid out for you in the marketing calendar. That brings us to the marketing plan outline last step, which is budget. And this is where we really reconcile the money part of it. And most importantly, and what we want to do is we want to look at the concept of return on investment, which is much like if you're a stockbroker. You want a good investment. You want to be able to put money into marketing efforts that produce a return. Because if we look at this marketing money cycle, you create this budget, you invest in marketing tools and strategies, that creates sales, which should generate a return, should have profit left over, which then again goes back into a marketing budget. Fairly simple. Lots of different ways to depend, and we're not going to go into it in this program, but just quickly determining what to spend on marketing. You can do a percentage of sales, you can do it by task, by a combination, but we always want to consider return on investment in our spending calculation. And again, that's where the pro forma comes in, creating that budget that projects out a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, depending on if you're getting financing for your business. But if you can see your, because you may have a startup business, you may not be able to make a return right away. It may cost you some money up front. But if you can show that through a progression, like in a typical McDonald's, they don't make money right away. They start selling stuff right away, but it takes time for them to return their investment back. So, and a banker or an investor is going to want to see that plan in place. So that's why you've got to have that in order to be successful. Some of the tools that you use in your budgeting process and your marketing plan is things like tracking, using call-in logs, ad codes, reply cards, and always tracking while testing. Because again, marketing is that process that you're navigating through. You have to be able to track what you do, even if it's simply something as simple as how are you referred to us. Okay, so what are your next steps? You've got, let's assume you put the plan together and you don't have it in front of you, you just listen through this. There's a lot of different ways you can take this, but as long as your marketing plan has those 6 elements in it, you've looked at your situation, whether you're a brand new business or whether you're an existing business, you've come up with your uniqueness, you have determined who your target audience is, you've come up with that ideal profile, you have a plan that has goals in place, you have picked your strategies, the tools that you're going to use in order to get your message, your unique selling proposition out to that target audience. You've got a calendar in place that shows you what you're going to do when, and then you have a budget that says, okay, here's how much I'm spending, here's how much I'm projecting to make, what it's going to cost me, here's the profit, here's the return on that money that's invested in order to make this work. You need to have that plan in place. Now, there's several resources that we offer at marketingplanguide.com from the simple a marketing plan template. It's available in a word processor format. You just download it in your word processor. You fill in the questions, kind of like we went through today. That's available. That's also included in the Do-It-Yourself Marketing Handbook, which is the physical book that I wrote, but it's also digitally available online, the new and updated version. So that is available for you. Marketing Plan Guide also has all kinds of other resources, specific things on things such as search engine optimization. How do you get high rankings in Google if you're going to use that free kind of traffic to get to your website? And almost everyone needs a website, so this is something you need to look at. Thinking about social media or how to determine a return on social media course is a great one that you can use to find out about that. We have all kinds of other resources available for you, so just check out marketingplanguide.com. Determine what your next step is. I'm going to tell you to take this action item. You've gone through a bunch of stuff here in a very whirlwind amount of time. Pick something that you want to do and then tell someone, here's my next step. Because really, if you're on a roadmap to success and you start at point A and you want to get to point B, you have to go through several points to get there. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to take a point and say, okay, well, at least the next thing I'm going to do is this to get you to where you want to be. Really doing nothing is not a good excuse. You do need to take a next step. You have been gifted with some talent. You have a desire. Hopefully you have a why now. But doing nothing is really worse than trying something and maybe failing at it. So I encourage you to take some next steps. Get the help you need, the resources you need. Start brainstorming. Take the next step towards that success that you ultimately want by having your own business. Well, that concludes our 6 steps to success, our roadmap to success, and those 6 things that you need. Those 6 things that you need are that marketing plan, that outline that we followed, the situation analysis, the why should I do what I'm doing and how am I different, really setting yourself up for how I'm unique in the marketplace, because then I can take that out to a target audience, the second step. There is a need for what I have, and out there I'm going to connect with those people. And here are the goals I have in the third step. I'd like to be able to achieve this much income. I'd like to be able to do this by this particular date. I've set some goals because, like Stephen Covey said, it's created once in your mind, and then second, it's created physically. Then I'm going to pick those tools. Picking the tools is not that hard once you know who your target audience is and what your uniqueness is. And you just need to deliver that unique selling proposition to that audience. And using step 5, the calendar, to plot out exactly when you're going to do it. And like that dream vacation, decide the date that you're going to start. Move forward and say, okay, on this date I'm going to do this. Same with your marketing efforts. Plan them out, be diligent and follow them. And make sure you're doing it with financial certainty. Lay out your pro forma. Now, of course, you can't always predict the future. But having a budget in place and having it reviewed by a few people saying, I think it's a little light on your projection there, or I think you're way over projecting. Having that in place is really going to just give you the confidence you need to move forward. So take those ideas, put together that personal marketing plan, and I wish you the best success as you travel on your journey to success following this roadmap to success.